Alex Popham. I'm the 4-H agent here in Breckenridge County, part of UK's College of Ag, Food, and Environment's Cooperative Extension Service. And this video is for all of our junior and mini master gardeners, so thanks for hanging in with us through this virtual program, and I hope you're having as much fun as I am. Today we're going to be dissecting flowers, and on planet Earth there's such a variety of colors and shapes and sizes of flowers on our planet, so it's pretty exciting once you start looking into all the flowers here in Kentucky. So today I've picked some flowers around the office or at my own farm, and we have some roses and a couple different types of daylilies. So I've gone ahead and cut one of our daylily flowers off, but for this particular dissection I'm also going to cut off a piece of our rose. All right. Now these are fresh flowers, so we don't have to worry about eye protection and gloves, but if you were to work with preserved flowers and a chemical, you want to make sure you have goggles and gloves on. And you want to work on some type of flat surface or in a tray. And then today I also have some tweezers or forceps and a couple different size scissors. So we'll get started. I have a diagram of a daylily flower here as if the flower's been cut in half. So you can imagine me taking this flower and slicing it in half. And if you start at the very bottom, there is what looks like small leaves. They're modified leaves or petals that are going to surround and protect those colorful, showy petals, especially when the flower folds up. And those are really obvious on this rose right here. They're green and they have some texture to them, but those are just going to surround that little rosebud. So you can see here we have a little rosebud with those sepals protecting it. All right. And then as we move up, we get into our nice, showy, bright, colorful petals. This daylily has 6 of these petals, and they're big and showy and colorful because they need to attract birds, insects, and other animals that are going to help pollinate. So those animals are coming after that sugary water or nectar that's in the flower, and they will find the flowers based on that color and the shape, and it will guide them straight into the center where that nectar source is that they can drink from. And what's really awesome is once they start drinking, they're going to hit into the other parts of the flower that we're going to talk about. And some of these parts have pollen all over them, those little yellow grains of pollen. And that's what we want. We want that pollen to get stuck to those birds and butterflies, and we want those animals to fly and land on a different plant and help cross-pollinate, or leave that pollen from the first plant behind on the second, so that the seeds and the fruit and even the veggies that we like to eat will be able to grow. So we're going to take a closer look at those parts now. So I'm just going to cut off the base of our flower, and I'm going to use my hand and just gently peel all of those petals off. I'm going to set them on our little cheat sheet next to the word petal. So again, this daylily flower has 6 colorful petals. All right, and then what we have left is basically all of these other parts in the center. Okay, so these are all the reproductive or the male and female parts of the flower. Daylily is a complete flower. It has both male and female parts. So you can see that we have some male parts here, and then the one part that looks a little different, this one right here, is our female part. So we're going to leave her alone for a minute, and I want to cut off all those male parts so that we can take a closer look. So you could do this in a dissecting tray or a dish, but I'm just going to set them out on our diagram here to help us. So you can see that this daylily had 6 male parts, and we call those male parts stamen. So this is all part of the stamen, and each stalk includes this thin filament with this bean-looking anther on top. So again, together the filament and the anther make up the stamen. So this is the male part of the flower. It's producing the pollen, and you can see all those little yellow grains of pollen sitting there on the anther, ready for a bird or butterfly to come and get it stuck to them. And botanists, or people who study plants, they will look, and when they're identifying plants, they will actually count the number of stamen. So This helps us out know that this is a daylily because it has 6 male parts or 6 stamen. All right, so I'm going to set those stamen to the side, and let's take a closer look at our female reproductive system. So in this diagram it's green, but in our flower here it's kind of a yellow color, but all of this right here is part of the female reproductive system, the female part of the plant where the seeds and the fruit are going to grow. So if we start at the very top, right here is the very sticky stigma. So we want pollen to stick to that so that it can travel all the way down this style or this pollen tube and into the ovary at the bottom where the eggs will form. And each of these little ovules, if you were to cut into the ovary, each of those are going to become a seed. And eventually our ovary, this section right here, will be the fruit and many of the veggies that we like to eat. Okay, so if we take a closer look, I'm going to put it on the white part of our diagram so you can see it really easily. Here is the stigma, so I remember it by the sticky stigma, and if you look really close, it will have lobes, just like in the picture. And then we have the style, and you can remember that by thinking about how the pollen is going to have to travel down in style. Sorry, little pun for the day. And then at the very bottom, let's cut into it, we should be able to see the ovary, and it's going to be just a round little nodule. Looks like I had left it behind inside of this flower. So let me cut into this. I can kind of feel it there at the bottom. So you can use your fingers or try to slice it with the scissors. See if we can get down into it. There we go. So let me pop that out. And so I had cut a little too high, but this should have met up with that. Let me move all the stuff we don't need out of the way. And then at the very bottom, here is our ovary. So it feels kind of like a little nodule, a little rock there at the bottom, but that is part of the female part of the flower where the seeds and then the fruit are going to develop. So again, pollen's going to stick up here to the sticky stigma on the female part of the flower, which we call carpel. So this entire thing here is referred to as the carpel. Pollen's going to stick to the sticky stigma, travel down the style and style, and then end up down here in the ovary where those ovules are going to form seeds. All right, and then this ovary here is going to swell and grow into a fruit or veggie. So this is a really simple flower dissection. And what's really cool is you can do this over and over again with different flowers and maybe count how many stamen or male parts or how many carpels or female parts of the flower can be found. And then check out all the differences in the shape and color and even the size of the different parts of the flower. So I encourage you to go out in the garden, go out in our parks and try to find as many different flowers as you can. Bring some back and dissect them. Compare, and definitely share photos of your own flower dissections with us in the comment section below. So thanks, Junior and Mini Master Gardeners. See you next time.